Hello, everybody. Happy November 20th, 2020. My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show, where we talk all things talents in Connecticut. And on today's show, I'm pleased to have the senior quarterback, Jack Cox, who is for Valley Regional and Old Lyme, but he's here for a different story. Usually, I have a player come on or a coach to talk about the program and about either the talented player or such, but this is a little bit different. This is where this young man in front of me started the petition with a couple other people to be able to help save potentially his head coaching position in Coach Tim King. Jack, it's a pleasure to be able to have you.
Thanks. Pleasure being on.
Jack, I think first and foremost, kind of tell the people either who are from Connecticut or are watching this when I posted that are outside Connecticut as far as why did you start this petition and how did it get started?
Well, I mean, it wasn't a matter of who started the petition. I think it was I had I figured it out pretty quickly when it happened, but as soon as the football team found out, we knew we were going to start a petition. So me and the captains and the inner circle guys all agreed upon the script that we wrote, and we started the petition, and it blew up pretty quickly. We're sitting at around 1,500 signatures, I believe, something like that. But yeah, I mean, I expected no less. This guy's he's pretty big deal across the entire state of Connecticut.
Now, before we talk about Tim King, I kind of want to go back to the petition itself. Did the idea come about as far as the petition? Because I know with what we've been dealing with as far as COVID and the pandemic and everything, and what you yourself and Connecticut football has dealt with in the fall, and seeing the amount of petitions that were brought up and signed and such, did that kind of in some ways carry over to this? I know it's a little bit of a different story, but still, a petition is a petition.
Yeah, I mean the platform change.org, that was the same one used for the petition that got something like 30, 40,000 signatures for football in the first place. And so that was obviously it's a proven platform for something like this to try and get a response. So that was it was no question that was what we were going to go with because everyone because we were all involved in spreading the word at that point for the other protests back in the fall. So we knew we were familiar with the platform, so we just rolled with it.
And when the petition came about, as far as with you and the team, were you the first one, or was it kind of a collective effort where, all right, let's vote to see who wants to be the head person for this petition?
Um, it was just kind of I just said I'd do it, and I mean no one really questioned it. It's not necessarily for taking credit; it's for the cause.
Hmm.
So I mean, I guess Colin Michaud and I were the key writers of the petition, but it's we had to get one of my fellow captains' dads. He called Tim King, and we got permission to kind of we got permission to make a scene about this and petition.
Interesting. All right. I mean, hey, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, the fact that you contacted Coach King and asked him kind of speaks volumes and something that we're going to talk about now. The fact that what Coach King means to Old Lyme and Valley Regional. Now, for yourself being a senior and you've been a part of the program now for a number of years, just kind of talk about what Coach King means to you.
Well, to me, he's always been the head coach. I knew who he was in the third grade. Everybody knows who he is in the third grade. If you at all know anything about the high school football team, his name is very well known in both of our towns, not to mention the whole state in the football world. But I, but going in I know I'm about a lot of kids they used to have to play for Xavier or some other prep school, and that's why partially why Valley's so good is because kids stay to play for Valley because I know that Tim King and the coaching staff he's built there are so great, not only at coaching actual football as far as skills go, but they care about you. They don't just care about the football. They don't just care about winning. They care about building young men and making an impact on kids.
And the reputation of Coach King, you talk about the fact that, I mean, you knew back in third grade who he was. What does he do in the community? Because I know the program has been sustainable for a number of years. I know your matchups with Ansonia, because I broadcast in the NVL, have always been exciting. Even though I wasn't broadcasting them, being able to watch the games were fun, old style kind of football. But what does he do as far as the community that makes him so loved, not just in one town, but in two?
Well, it's the impact he's had. You read those comments on the petition. These are parents talking about how the family that is Valley football and the track. I know that's a family too, and he's also the head coach over there. People going through the gym program, like even girls who didn't play any sports. There's a bunch of people on there who said they're the people that walk the mile, but Tim King always made them feel welcome. He always made them feel loved and like they were a part of the family. He always made sure that he's not discriminating against anybody. He's just there. He's just there for anyone because he's a nice guy. He's there because he knows it's the right thing to do, and he's always lived by that kind of mentality. Be fair to everybody and help everybody you can.
And for a guy who, we talked about before we started this recording how in the football board committee, however you want to call it, of 20 coaches, etc., he's probably the lone coach who has a program of just 100 kids total. When you think about some of the other big time, schools and coaches, etc. So for a guy like that to be able to sustain a team for a number of years and to be able to fight, and it kind of shows in the program, that kind of just adds to another layer on his resume for both yourself, the players, and also the program.
Yeah, I mean, it just speaks to his reputation and the way he's able to make an impact on people. It's why he gets the dedication he does from his football players. It's why, I mean, I can tell you multiple times I've walked into, a coffee shop wearing a Valley shirt, and some 40-year-old man comes up to me and he says, "Is Tim King still there?" And I said, "Yeah, he is." And they always just say like, "Oh man, he was such a great guy. I wish I could go back and play for him again." And that's, you never hear anything bad. It's all positive with this guy. He's made an impact on everybody he meets because he's genuine and I've been saying it this whole time. It's just there's just nothing bad you can point to with this guy. He's dedicated to his football players. He's dedicated to the rest of his football staff, and that's how he lives.
Is there any one story, or either for yourself or the team, that you can that you'll like never forget as far as a moment with Coach King?
I mean, he's there's definitely moments I'm never gonna forget because of I mean, he gets angry as any football coach does, and but the things he gets angry about are not necessarily on the field things; they're off the field things. That's his big thing. Is we're gonna run. The only time I ever ran a bill, which is famous in the Valley football world, is it's a horrible conditioning set. But the only time we ever had to run a bill was because of one player screwing up my freshman year with a disciplinary issue, and that's the only time you're ever going to see him get really pissed off because he believes in responsibility and accountability, and that's what he preaches, and that's how he's going to coach his team.
What's a bill? Because you talk about being a valley thing, and it sounds like it's hell. So, what is a bill?
A bill is, so you go up and down in the lines of the football field, uh, bear crawling. I think he's sprinting, crab walking, and I forget what the other one was, but they're not fun. It's especially for the line. There's everybody will throw up if you have to run anything more than like a quarter or a half bill.
And that's like a punishment.
Yeah,
Jeez. And you said you've only had to do it once in your 4 years?
once in my 4 years because of the disciplinary issue. He's never going to punish you for on the field performance. It's just not the way it works. As long as you're giving your best effort.
And let's talk about that, because I think that's another aspect of Coach King. The fact that you said he'll never punish a player for on the field performance, regardless of what it is. But you talk about the off the field issue, and this kind of goes back to the community aspect. What does he preach for off the field? Like what does he say that a Valley old line player should represent? Because like you said, you walked into a coffee shop, you had Valley gear on, and somebody knew who Coach King was even way back when, because he played for him. So just tell me about that.
Well, he preaches. It's not like set in stone what it is, but he always will tell you that the most important things to be a part of the Valley football team are accountability, family, and just respect.
Interesting.
Those are three things that definitely stick out over my 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
If there's ever an issue in any of those things, he'll make it a problem, and you're going to run something for it. You're going to probably get a punishment.
Jack,
I mean, but it's not. It's everyone knows you got to do it, and no one ever complains about it.
well, I can't see. I mean, why would you complain? I mean, if you do something off the field that's disrespectful and you're not representing the name on the back, the front, however you want to call it, I could see why Coach King would say, all right, here's some punishment so that way you don't do it again,
Yeah.
you know? But hey, man, I really do appreciate you coming on. I do have one more thing for you, real quick. As far as we don't know what's going to happen in the next couple days, weeks, or however long this drags on, but do you have a message? Because I'm sure Coach King will watch this at some point. We hope. Because I think a lot of people, I know I talked to him earlier today, and he said he received a lot of messages and phone calls from people just for support. And I know you're one of the bigger supporters, or one of the biggest supporters, as well as the entire program. But do you have a message for Coach King that you want him to see in the near future?
I mean, I just say hang in there. I know everybody on our football team, and I know I speak for every player that's come through. So many former players have shared that petition and have emailed the board. We all stand with King. We know who King is, and we want to stop this from happening. It's not how it should go down.
Hey, Jack, well, once again, I really do appreciate you coming on, and hopefully I can come, I can have you back on again in the near future, because I saw you're going to Amherst, which I broadcast in the NESCAC, and I've done numerous football games. So hopefully maybe I'll be doing an Amherst game in the near future when you come down and, to Connecticut to play Wesleyan or Trinity. So,
All right. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
yeah, no problem. I'll wrap things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent, and I'm on our journey to find them all. Have a good one, everybody, and be well.